see here is your basic HobbyZone SuperCub, which I've modified a lot actually. Looking at a 48-inch wingspan. It's a good trainer plane. In the front you'll notice the cowling right here has duct tape over it. Let's take a look at that. The reason for that is I fly this plane all year round. I fly it in the summer and the winter time. I just flew the plane yesterday. And the duct tape helps keep the cold air off the motor, which is a Corvallis, taken out of a Corvallis airplane. And the 30 amp ESC that's installed inside there. Just keeps the temperature a little more cozy in there versus having the real cold air hitting it, which cuts down on the performance. You see that the prop is a special APC prop. It's a 9 by 4.7. Took me a while to find this exact prop to get the performance that I want. I've tried different props and either they burned up the ESC or the motor. This prop seems to work best for what I want to fly at. I can get somewhere in the range of 10 to 12 minutes with this prop and this motor setup with the Corvallis motor in there. The motor itself inside I had to redo, which I modified. I took I mounted a stick mount in there. It's a stick mount setup. And I mounted the Corvallis motor right onto the end of the stick. The stick goes all the way into the back here, into the foam, and it's really strong. I've tried different kinds of mounts, made special mounts on my own, and they all broke. And I found this stick mount at the hobby store, and it works really good. So it's one thing to consider. Another modification I did, turn the airplane a bit, is I installed ailerons on each side and flaps. This makes for a 5-channel setup using my DX6i transmitter. If you look at the tail section, I got a special wheel in the back, which didn't come with the plane, but I did another modification there. It seemed like the bigger wheel was easier to handle when it took off or land, or takeoff and landings. Come back over here. I'm going to turn the plane over so I can show you the other modifications with the aileron and flap setup. You notice that each aileron and flap have their own servo with the wires mounted inside of the styrofoam. And they go in there really nice. Just take a razor blade and make a slit, and you push the wires down in there, and then you can tape up so that there's a nice smooth surface, no air friction at all. You go over to here, you see the other aileron and flap servos, the same wires. They go underneath the wing into the fuselage. Now this door here, when this plane was originally bought, it had a very small battery that you could put in there. but I enlarged it, and if you look down straight in here, well, you probably can't see it, it's kind of dark, but it's a cavity which I cut out, and I'm able to stick this 2200 milliamp 11 volt 30C battery in there. Before it only took like an 1800 milliamp with a 25C, I believe, and I can only get probably about 8 minutes of runtime, and not very fast. With this battery and this motor and the ESC setup, which is a 30 amp generic ESC, I can get almost up to 12 minutes of pretty almost flat out runtime with this. It's a long time in the air, actually, 30, being 12 minutes. I'm going to close this back up. I'm going to flip the plane back over. Oh, and I want to show you something else with the, I don't know if I said this before, but this tape here, it has 2 dimes underneath it for counterbalance weight. And if you look down here, you'll see a mark here. On the other side, you see a mark there. Those are my balancing points for how the plane is balanced. So since I did a lot of modifications to this airplane, and with a different motor in there that's not recommended for it, you need to balance it. So I did balance it correctly. I'm going to turn the plane over, and I'm going to commence to take off the rubber binders that hold the wing on. Okay, now that I get the rubber binders off, we'll slightly take this off here. And you'll be able to see inside. Actually, you can't see it. I'll have to turn it over.